Okay, tonight is Rosh Chodesh, so Chodesh Tov. It's Chodesh Mar Cheshvan. Cheshvan is the only month that is unique, doesn't have any holidays. No holidays in Cheshvan. So we can bond with Hashem. So this morning we were sitting davening right here. We have a daily minyan here every morning, 7:15 a.m. And those of you who saw my Instagram post, I announced in the morning it's going to be a great month. It's going to be incredible. And as we took out the Torah this morning to read from Rosh Chodesh, there was a table right over here where I'm standing, and the table, whoever set it up, didn't clip it properly. As we put the Torah on the table, there was no coin, the coin went out, so the Levi came. Levi was a big guy, Stephen. And the Torah, as I opened it, the table collapsed. So the Torah went flying. Now, as you all know, if a Torah falls down on the floor, you have to fast, because the Torah is our life, is our sustenance, is our everything. But the guy, Stephen, he got good reflexes. I mean, I didn't react as fast as he did. I was a little bit further than him, but gotta say, Stephen did a better job than the rabbi. And he grabbed the Torah literally a millimeter from the floor, grabbed it. It was so much so that I had to ask people, do you think it touched the floor? They didn't. So Stephen is the cause of the fact that we don't have to fast. But I still said to everybody that in lieu of the fast that we should have fasted, everybody gives some charity. Because today's day, you give charity. So everybody gave some charity, and that was it. But I said to them, this must be an extra sign. It's going to be a super duper month. It's going to be an incredible month, because Baruch Hashem, we were saved from having to fast. But the message of the story was, in my blog post, that the world is in turmoil. The world is gonna. But the Torah stands strong. Torah is always strong. The Torah, nothing happens to the Torah, right? That's actually what the class tonight is all about. So, we all know the story of the flood. The story of the flood happened. By the way, Bereshit goes through 1,600 years of history. We now in the year 5786. Bereshit, one parsha, goes through the first 1,600 years of history. The flood happened in 1648. And by the end of the parsha, when Abraham is born, it's the year. Abraham was born in the year. Anybody? Very good. Yeah, 1948. Abraham was born. The original 1948, not the modern 1948. But there are parshias, like the last four in the whole parsha, that go through half a day of Moses' life. Like Nitzavim Vayelech Hazinu V'zot HaBracha, the last four is literally Moses' last day. Most of the Torah is his last day. But there's parshas like Bereshit, which go through 1,600 years. So we all know the story, right? Everybody knows the story, yes? The flood, yes? I don't have to go through the story. I will go through some of it at some stage. But there's two questions I want to ask on the story of this week's parsha. Question number one is, first of all, why did God destroy the world? Why? Because the earth was filled with, what's the word the Torah uses? Hamas. Vatimalei haaretz Hamas. Hamas has been a problem then, and it's a problem now. Hamas. Vatimalei haaretz Hamas. So God decided the world is too bad. The people here are terrible, terrible people. I'm going to destroy the world. Yes? Hamas. I'm going to get to that. So the world was filled with Hamas. Robberies, but I'm going to explain it. And therefore, God decided, I'm going to destroy the world, and He brought a flood. The flood lasted for how long? 40 days. So my question is, if God wanted to destroy the world, why destroy it with water? Water is nourishing. Water is so beautiful. Why water? Water? Can you think of it? I can think of 1,000 ways for God to destroy the world. And He doesn't have to put Noah in an ark. So I want to bring this out. The mikveh is one explanation. I want to bring this out. The what? Torah is compared to water, yes. Yes. And also, why save Noah in an ark? According to a few midrashim, Eretz Yisrael didn't have the flood. There was no flood in Eretz Yisrael. So why put him in Eretz Yisrael? Why don't you take Noah and put him in the heavens? Like Moses. A couple of days. Put him in heaven for 40 days. I don't know. 120 days Moses there total. Put him there, destroy the world, put him back. Saying there's a lot of ways. Why make him build an ark? How long did it take Noah to build the ark? 120 years. What? You know how long it took it to build the Empire State Building? Anybody know? 13 months. 13 months. Good luck trying to do that today in the democratic socialist New York. especially if a new mayor comes into town, does what he wants to do, good luck. But 13 months, that's all it took, right? 13 months. Is that somebody at the door? I can't even see. 13 months. So Noah took him 120 years. Why did it take him 120 years? Because one of the reasons was because he built it at a public property on 5th Avenue and 42nd, the crossroads of the world. And when somebody came to Noah and asked him, what are you doing? He said, I'm building an ark. Why are you building an ark? Meshuggah in the middle of the street? Because God's coming to destroy the world with a flood. That's what he said, right? So the people said, if God comes to destroy the world, I'm going to enter the ark with you. I won't let you stay in the ark. In the end, they actually tried that. And what happened? As Noah went into the ark with the flood, God brought all the wild animals, and whoever tried to get on, they just attacked him and killed him. That's what the wild animals did. But those are the two questions I want to focus on tonight. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, so there were two leaders that are closely associated one with the other. Noah. Who do you think is the most associated with Noah in the Bible? It's fascinating, actually. Yes. How do you know that?
There's certain things that Moshe did to make up for it and Noah.
So let's look at a couple of comparisons between Noah. Jonathan, I think you need it there again. Between Noah, the what? Very good. So let's take a look at all the comparisons between Noah and Moses. Noah and Moses were unique in the fact, it says when they were born circumcised. Noah and Moses were born circumcised. Noah, it says, the tradition had it, that they knew, from Adam, that somebody who would be born circumcised, would save them. And Noah was born circumcised. In fact, when they named him Noah, because they said, Ze yenachamenu mima'aseinu mitzvon yadenu. This one will comfort us. Until then, they were toiling in the land. Noah was the first one to make this machine, machresha, to make it easier to work the land, agriculture. But Noah saved them. He was born brised. Moses, it says, as soon as he was born, the whole room filled with light. He was born also circumcised. Okay, that's comparison number one between Noah and Moses. The other thing between Noah and Moses, it says that both of them, the Noah, it says, Matzah chen be'einei Hashem. Noah found grace, charm. It's a very unique thing to have talent, charm, Noah had charm. Moses also, it says about him, chen. And I don't know of any other leader that says charming, chen. So there was also a comparison between them. And then the other thing is, both of them were saved by a teva. Noah went into a teva, into the ark, and Moses, as a baby, was saved by a teva. It says teva, when he was a baby, right on the Nile River. His mom put him in a teva, in a floating device, right? A basket. His mom was the idea, his sister was watching him. And the fourth thing is, it says that God, until then, people lived till very old. Like it says about Hanoch, he died like a baby. He was only 365 years old. But people lived till 809. Adam lived till 930 years old. Methuselah lived till 969 years old. But God saw that the Yetzer Hara is so powerful, so strong. So he decided that he's only going to live till 120 years. Where did he get the idea of 120? From Moses. Beshegam. It says, Vayu Yamav 120 shana. Lo yadon ruchi be'adam le'olam. I won't give them. Beshegam. Beshegam is Gematria Moshe. In other words, he'll give them 120 years to see if they won't repent. And where did he get that 120 years? From Moses. From Moses, who lived 120 years. Right, so that's the four comparisons. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the shir, the four comparisons between these two amazing, incredible leaders, Moses and Noah. Okay? So why water? Why water? The Kli Yakar says something fascinating. What do you think was the first crime in history? The first sin? The worst sin? What was it? The what? killing. Killing is good because killing is Cain and Hevel. But even before that. But what was the reason for the sin? What prompted it? Jealousy. Kin'ah. In fact, the very first sin was on day number 4 of creation. Sin, like an argument between the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon were the same size, and the moon came to God and said, it's not fair that we have two kings, so to speak. You can't have two kings. It doesn't work that way. Two kings can't have one crown. We can't both be the same size. And he thought God's going to make the sun smaller. So God said, okay, good idea. I'm going to make you smaller. But that first idea was because of jealousy. They couldn't contain that both had the same thing. And the next major sin in history in the Torah was the sin of Adam. What prompted that sin? The what? Snake. But what prompted it specifically? Snake was the Yetzer Hara, but what prompted it?
The desire to know knowledge.
Ego?
A what?
Ego?
No, what you said before, jealousy. The snake was jealous. What was he jealous of? He saw Adam and Eve. He saw Adam had a beautiful wife. He wanted her. He was jealous. It was the 9th commandment. Do not covet your neighbor's wife. He wanted Eve. It says clearly in the Torah. So he decided that he's going to make Eve, Chava, sin. Adam's going to sin, be killed, and he's going to have Chava all for himself. That was the plan. And Eve, after she ate from the tree, she wanted Adam to eat as well, because then he'd get another wife. He'd be killed, he'd get another wife. So what prompted her was also that idea. And what prompted Adam to sin? He says, I want to be like God. I want to have the knowledge. So it was also jealousy. All three of them. They wanted what they didn't have, what they could not have. And that, by the way, is the original sin. It's indicative of Hamas. You asked, what was Hamas? Vatimalei haaretz Hamas. Hamas was this robbery, but what prompted it? Pure jealousy. Pure jealousy. That's what it was. They desired what they couldn't have. It seeps everywhere. Jealousy is going places where you don't belong. That was what was wrong with the world, Hamas. You know, there's a soldier here in New York. Last night he actually went to Israel. He's come back in a few weeks. The soldier's name is Gal, and what an incredible hero. This guy, Gal, was injured 3 times. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Unique, very unique. What happened? First time he served, he was training. He served in the paratroopers, and he jumped out of an airplane because that's part of their training. He was training. He wasn't by terrorists. He was training. Jumped out of an airplane, and when he gets to the floor, he landed wrong, and he hurt his leg very badly. And his commanding officers told him, "You're out. We don't want you. We don't need you. You're injured. You can't serve in the army." Fast forward to October 7, which happened a couple months after his injury. And a normal person, when he hears the October 7 rumors, not rumors, but he goes to Ben Gurion Airport, gets the first flight to New York or anywhere, but doesn't stay in Israel. This guy, Gal, gets on the first ride he can to the south. He goes all the way to the south. He's on the way on the highway, and Hamas is firing missiles and rockets and everything, a whole barrage. And when the missiles are about to hit you, there's only one thing you can do. If there's no bomb shelter, you lie on the ground in the highway, you put your head like this, and you hope for the best, and you pray. That's what he did, him and about 15 people with him. And a missile hit right next to him, and shrapnel hit him in the neck. Pretty badly. He was hospitalized from October 7 on. And for that, he was told, go home. We don't want you. Anyway, he was in the Maglan unit. Maglan is called a bird. It's camouflage because they go undercover like Arabs. And this guy killed a lot of terrorists, did a lot of good things. And in one day, house they were in, booby trap bombed, and a bomb hit him from his chest above, pretty badly injured, like really, really badly. He's got memory losses. But he's here in New York because he lost 2 fingers, and the other 2 fingers don't work. So he did a couple surgeries in Israel. And in Israel, he reached a dead end. They said, this is the best we could do for your fingers. Here in NYU, they could do better. And we did surgery on two of his fingers, which worked now better. And the other two fingers, he's going to get special prosthetic, which is also not available in Israel. And also the whole therapy, the PT, the OT doesn't exist in Israel on this kind of level. It doesn't exist. So this is a guy who's the opposite. That's called Mesirut Nefesh, sacrificing yourself for somebody else. It's the opposite of Hamas. Hamas, the modern day Hamas, take what they don't have. They want what is not theirs. It's exactly what happened in the olden day Hamas. They want what's not theirs. They want Israel. That's what they want. They want Israel. It's not theirs. Like those of you who came to Shir last week, I explained the first pasuk in the Torah says, in the beginning God created heaven and earth. He is the boss. It's our land. That's it. So that's the Hamas of today. But if you look also, the Torah goes through sibling rivalry. Who were the first siblings to fight? You mentioned it before. Cain and Hevel. What was the fight between Cain and Hevel about? Jealousy. The same idea. They were jealous. Three opinions in the Medrash what they were jealous of. One opinion is the offerings. The simple is the offerings. The offerings, in other words, God accepted Hevel, not Cain's. The other thing is property. In other words, they divided the world, and the Temple Mount fell in Hevel's property. It was jealousy. That's what it was. The next set of siblings was way before. Yitzchak and Ishmael. They couldn't get along. There was no getting along with them. Yaakov and Esav. They couldn't. It was all jealousy. Yaakov and Esav couldn't get along, right? Esav. And then afterwards was the brothers, the Shvatim. They couldn't get along either. They stole Joseph. They put him into a pit. They wanted to kill him. They wanted to murder him. They kidnapped him. I mean, there was pretty bad stuff going on there. And finally, in the beginning of Shemot, we get to the true siblings who learned how to get along one with the other. Moses and Aaron, they teach us today how to get along. When Moses was told by God, you are the leader, he said, send Aaron. And God said, Aaron will be happy for you. He'll be thrilled that his younger brother, he won't be jealous of you, because we've integrated, internalized the lesson and healed ourselves. And this answers why, question number one, which I began the Torah class with, why God destroyed the world with water. Those of you who come to the Wednesday night Tanya class, so last night I explained that water has a special characteristic. The water just flows from up, down. It just seeps everywhere. It gets into all the crevices, into all the holes, everywhere. Like the famous story of Rabbi Akiva. At the age of 40 years old, he didn't know Aleph Bet. He didn't know how to read. And he sees a rock and water is just seeping, dripping, and made a dent in the rock. Because water gets everywhere. So in order to clean up the mistake of jealousy, which gets everywhere, this is what he did. Right? The 9th commandment, by the way, tells you, it says, do not covet, right? Lo tachmod eishet re'ech. Yeah?
Right. I'm just curious, though, aren't there other elements like air that also get everywhere? Like, I'm just so clear, why?
So air you can't see, that it gets everywhere. It does, but I can't see it. Water, you can see it. Yeah, I'm seeing. Should see it, yeah. So it says, Lo tachmod eishet re'ech, don't covet the wife of your friend, the 9th commandment. Then it says, don't covet his ox, his donkey, his Rolls Royce. It says there's 5 items in the 10th commandment. Why do we have to say? Why is the Torah is very, very exact? Why doesn't it say don't covet the wife of your neighbor? End of story. No, the Torah is don't covet his watch, don't covet his jacket, don't covet his shoes, don't covet his house in the Hamptons. Why? And then it says v'chol asher le'reyecha, everything your neighbor owns. Right? Yonatan, do you covet? Are you jealous of anybody? No? Are you jealous of Elon Musk's bank account? So the Torah says like this. B'chol asher le'reyecha, says God like this. Every single person in this world has a package of tzoros, of problems. We all have a bag full of problems. Says the Torah, you want to covet Elon Musk's bank account? You want it? You want his billions of dollars, his trillions of dollars? You can have it, but remember, v'chol asher le'reyecha, it's going to come with the package that Elon Musk has of tzaros. And I promise you, says God to Yonatan, you don't want his tzarot. You won't be able to handle. He only says the Torah. So I only want the money, so the Torah doesn't work that way. That's what the Torah means. V'chol asher l'rei. You want his money, you have to take everything that comes with it as well. That's how we stop ourselves from coveting. You want his money, you have to take everything else. You want your neighbor's wife, you want her wife, you have to take everything about her and him as well. You have to take his life. Says God, I promise you, you cannot handle his package deal. He says, well, you can't. I created every person with the ability, with the stamina to withstand their package of problems. But you cannot take somebody else's. It's not going to work. So that's why God destroyed the world with water. Why with water? Because water seeps everywhere to fix up the mistake of Hamas, that they went everywhere where they didn't belong. They took neighbors' wives. They took somebody who was about to get married. They took his wife. Got it? That's answer number 1, which is half the class. So far, so good? And now I want to give the Alter Rebbe's answer. The Baal HaTanya, what does he answer? So some of you alluded to it, and I'm going to elaborate on it. There's something called Alma de Itkasya, and there's something called Alma de Itgalia, the revealed world and the hidden world. The revealed world is what I see in this universe. I see a desk, I see a table, I see a chair, I see. But then there's the hidden world. Imagine you standing in Atlantic Beach and you're looking at the ocean. You don't see anything there. It's called the hidden world, Alma de Itkasya. It's the hidden world. Now I'm going to deviate a second. It's a deep Hasidic, Kabbalistic concept. Okay? We live on land. We live in the revealed world. This world is the revealed world. But we don't live in the hidden world. The hidden world is the world of godliness. We live in a world where we can't see. We don't see, we're blind. What do we see? We see a table, we see a chair, we see what's in front of us. But we can't see the murky depths, what's in the ocean. That's called the hidden world. That's called Alma de Itkasya. We can't see it. We cannot see spirituality. We cannot see godliness. We cannot see the truth. So you have this world, you can look at it from our perspective, and you can look at it from God's perspective. From our perspective, there's so much problems in this world. There's so much sorrow in this world. Let's look at the hostages for a second, right? You listen to these hostages, Matan and Yonatan, they languished for 2 years in hell. In hell. Now, if you were a person, the first day of Sukkot, a mother, a father who hasn't seen their child in 2 years, so much pain, so much anxiety, so much frustration. If you are a hostage there, the hostage said, we didn't know if we would live, if we would die. Every morning, every night, we didn't know if we'd have food. They starved them on purpose so that they have a good video. Insane animals. But then you look and you realize that God runs the world. God wanted the hostages to be there for 2 years. We have no idea why. And at the right time, He took them out. He didn't even let them wait a second longer. He took them all out. God took them out. And we don't understand it because we live in a limited world. We live in a world where we don't see, simply don't see, we're blind. God fills and permeates this universe. God is reality. God is the truth. We just don't see it. Somebody's looking for a shidduch for years and years and years, looking for a shidduch. I was looking for a shidduch for a long time, by the way. I was old. I was like 24 years old and 11 months when I got married. That is like today's equivalent of 75, like you're nearly dead. That's old. I was looking for a shidduch for a year. I was so frustrated. I wouldn't say Tehillim in the kotel. I would go really, really search for a shidduch. And then one day, after dating so many girls, I dated so many girls, 6 in total. Suddenly I met the 7th girl. I met my wife, whose name is Bat Sheva, which means the 7th daughter. She was named Bat Sheva because she's the 7th daughter in the family, born on the 7th day of the week, 7th month of Nisan, in the 7th hour, I'm not sure. No, not in the 7th hour. But when it happened, boom, it happened. And why did God send her then to meet me? Because that was the right time. So in hindsight, I wouldn't have had so much anxiety and pain. I wouldn't have had it. But I can't see. I am blind. But God knew. He knew all along. In other words, God knows the plan. God sees the universe. So Alma de Itkasya means the hidden world. Alma de Itkasya is the world that the fish inhabit. Yeah?
Sorry.
Yeah?
So just to clarify, is the fish inhabiting the water, is that like a metaphor, or is the hidden world really in the water?
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. It's a hidden world because God is hidden. But now I'm going to get to the fish. The fish in the water and the whales in the water and the sharks in the water and all the animals in the water know that they cannot live outside the water. They know they get their sustenance from the water. They know that's where they live. They get out, they die. So they feel connected. But we, human beings here, we don't feel that we need God. We don't feel we need anything. We are alive. Hello, here we are. Welcome. Let me do what I want, when I want, how I want. We don't feel a sense of obligation to anything. The fish in the water know they need the water to live. And that's why when you want to purify yourself, you go and dip in a mikvah. You go and dip in a mikvah. And the mikveh requires a minimum of 40 se'ah. 40 se'ah is a measurement of water, 40, which covers like my whole body would be 40 se'ah. It's a volume. That's a kosher mikveh. What happens when you dip in a mikveh, even if one finger of yours is standing outside the water, it's not kosher. You have to dip your whole entire body in the mikveh. Mikveh, what happens is you become nullified, bitul. You nullify yourself. You realize, 1 second, I'm now connected to on high. I'm letting go of my ego. And so what God needed to do with the flood is dip the world in a gigantic mikveh. The waters were raining for 40 days and 40 nights, which is the mikveh. And that's why God put the world in a mikveh to purify it, to let it go of its ego. Let go of your ego. Start thinking about God. Have a little bit of the alma de itkasya, of the hidden world, so you can see the hand of God. The Baal Shem Tov once told his students, he said that in my previous lifetime, here's who I was. Once upon a time, he tells them the story of a guy called Yankel, I remember his name. He was living in a town in Europe, and one day an old man knocks on his door and he says to him, I am Elijah the prophet. And I'm here to teach you the mysteries of Torah, the secrets of Torah. This is great, it's great, it's amazing. One condition. What's the one condition? I want you to tell me which mitzvah you did on your bar mitzvah. There's a certain mitzvah that you did on your bar mitzvah that I have no access to it. It's secret protocols, like top secret. And in the heavens, they know about that mitzvah and I cannot access it. If you tell me that secret that you did, the mitzvah, I will teach you the esoteric secrets of the Torah. Good deal, Melanie?
Good deal.
Would you take it?
Yeah.
Would you reveal the mitzvah that you did on your bat mitzvah?
If my local Orthodox rabbi agreed.
So this man tells Elijah the prophet, what I did is between me and God. I will not share that secret. And Elijah pleaded with him and pleaded, and he said no. And Elijah kept his side of the deal and did not teach him the esoteric secrets of the Torah. And the Baal Shem Tov said, you want to know who I was in my previous lifetime? I was that Jew. That's who I was. So you give up on the opportunity of realizing the esoteric secrets of the Torah, because there's nothing greater than a mitzvah done with bittul, with tznius, with modesty, with humility. That's the idea of a mikveh, to make you more modest, to make you more humble. Humility is what is needed in our generation. And this is the most important part of what I want to teach tonight. Torah Or explains, when we read Parshat Noach, we read it last year. Miriam, did you read it last year? You remember the story from last year? So why are you reading it again? You read last year, the year before, the year before. It's the same story, it didn't change. Noah, there was a flood. Anybody a doctor here? Anybody a lawyer? Oh, we have a doctor, a lawyer. So do you learn the same syllabus, the same college every single year? Right? My brother's a hand surgeon. He studied the hand. So every couple of months he needs to refresh his memory, but he doesn't have to study the same syllabus again and again and again and again his whole life. And that's what we do with Torah. We study the same syllabus. I learned trigonometry, and I learned sync and cos and all this thing. And, my kids show me this homework at 7 years old. They get these complicated questions, and I have no idea how to answer them. At 7 years old, and I'm like, thank the good Lord that I don't need to do this for a living. Like every year, if I would have to do that, I'd go crazy. And thank God for ChatGPT. I just put the things in ChatGPT. I give them the answers. And there's actually an app on my phone called Method Photo, something you actually screenshot the actual question and gives you the answers right away, which is amazing. But if I would have to learn the same syllabus every year, I'd go crazy. But that's what we do with Torah. The same story, it's the same Dai Noah, it's the same children, Shem, Cham, and Yefet. Why are we learning it again? Amanda, why are we learning it again?
Well, I think for me that I'm in a different place every time that I learn it. So there's always something new to learn to apply it.
And what Amanda is saying is the following. She's not learning it, she's living it. We don't learn the Torah. We live with the Torah. The Alter Rebbe once made a statement. He said, we have to live with the times. And he didn't mean the New York Times or the New York Post. We live with the Torah times. If the Torah is teaching us this week, Parshat Noach, it means we need to live with Parshat Noach. And now I'm going to teach you what it means to live with Parshat Noach. What is the flood? What is the flood? There's no flood. As far as I know, there's no flood. What does the flood mean in my life today? Where's the flood? What is the flood? The flood, explains Chassidus, explains Torah Or, is the flood of anxiety, of worry, of pain. We are day and night wanting to make a living. I can tell you what I'm doing. We have a Belev Echad gala coming up November 24th at Cipriani. It's the nicest event in New York City. Tickets are $1,200. They are not cheap. It sells out every single year. There's an after party for young professionals this year, by the way, but it sells out every year. But I am very busy this period of time of the year, very, very busy, selling tables, raising money so we can help wounded IDF soldiers. I'm very, very, very busy in it. Yeah, gotta say. That is the waters of the flood. Now, some people in my office are worried. What's going to be? Are we going to sell out? Are we not going to sell out? And I'm going to teach you the trick that I do based on what the Parsha tells us. But if you are, and this is a gala, I mean, it's not a big deal, but what happens when you are investing your money in stocks? What happens when you're investing your money in real estate? You can be wiped off the map in a second. There's a saying some broker told me many, many years ago in Manhattan. In Manhattan, if you blink, you die. Anybody heard that? You blink, you die. Meaning you can establish the most incredible clientele. And you can establish the most incredible portfolio. But if you blink for a moment and think and take it for granted, you die. Your whole world can collapse on you. Your whole clientele can collapse on you because Manhattan is so good, but it can collapse in a moment, in a second. Competition, boom. So how do we deal with the stress? With the worry, with the pain, the flood. When you read the story of the flood, you're reading the story of anxiety. And it's not just anxiety from Parnassah, it's anxiety from being single, being lonely. It's very painful being lonely. It's very painful for some people being married. It's very painful, Jonathan, very painful not to be able to find money to make a living, right? These are stress. There doesn't exist a human being that is not stressed over something. We all stress. We all go to our therapist. Our therapist is making so much money, right? We go to therapists. We talk about it. But we're stressed. This is real anxiety, real worries, real pain all day long. That is the flood that threatens to drown us. So what did Noach do? He built an ark. What is the word for ark in Hebrew? Teva. What does the word teva mean? A what? That's teva with a tet. I'm talking about teva with a tof. What does teva mean? What? Yeah, a letter, a word. Teva is a word. The Talmud says, Barati Yetzer Hara. God said, I created a Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara is so powerful. The Yetzer Hara, the Rebbe called it in a letter once, Uman b'malachto, it's an expert in his field. He's brilliant at what he does. God hired him to seduce the Jew, and he is brilliant. But there's one thing God created as an antidote to the Yetzer Hara, and that is Torah. When Noah built the ark, when we are translating that in 2025, what we mean is God created the Torah. And the Torah is your ability to deal with the flood, with the stress, with anxiety, with worry, with pain. No matter what life throws at you, if you have Torah in your head, you will be fine. You will be able to manage. When you know there's a God in charge, there's a boss in the world, you will be fine. When you believe with emunah shlema, with perfect faith, that it will be good. And if it's not good, it's not the end, because the end is always good. You're fine. You have no worries. You have nothing to worry about, because God is in control. No matter what life throws at you, you know God is the boss. You know God loves you. Like you are His only child. You have nothing to worry about. Yes, you need to do everything in your power to go get a job, to find a date. You need to do that. But in the end, God is ruling over the world. They tell the story of Reb Meir from Premishlan. He used to go every morning to the mikveh, which I mentioned before, and he used to live, his house was on top of the field, and he used to go down, the mikveh was on the bottom. So in the summer it was no problem, but in the winter it was full of snow. In Russia it was full of snow. So he went down and he never ever fell. So one time there was two people who they didn't believe this. This is not possible. They didn't live in town. They came, they were guests. They said, this is not possible. So the Hasidim said, it is possible. You watch him. So they said he has to have some sort of trick. There's some magic stuff happening here. So they got up early the next morning. They watched him. He's going down the mountain, down the snow. He's not sliding. He's not wearing anything crazy. So they said, oh, it's probably not slippery. So they went. They tried it themselves. And as soon as they tried it, they fell down. They slid. They broke their bones. It was very bad for them. So afterwards, they went over to Rabbi Meir and they said, how do you not fall? So he made a statement like this, which is exactly what we're talking about. He said, Jonathan, he said that when one is connected above, one does not falter below. That's a very, very powerful statement. When one is connected above, when you are connected above to your God, you don't falter below, you don't fall below. Nothing that life can throw at you can cause you to fall, to falter, to stumble, because you are connected to God above. The story going around right now, it's going around in the Jewish websites. I've heard it so many times already. There was a lady on Rosh Hashanah, a frum lady, who heard shofar every single year on Rosh Hashanah her whole life. Every year she has a shofar. And this year she was sick in bed in her home. I think she lives in Flatbush. And she was sick in bed. My son Mendel, this year Rosh Hashanah, he was in Crown Heights and he went on what's called Mivtzoim. They went to some place in Borough Park. They walked there for an hour and a half. It was second day Yom Tov. And they walked into, must have been some mental institution. So when they got there, they couldn't get in because there's basically the elevators and the doors are locked so that the patients can't escape. So they were trying to get in and there's no going in because, so they got a security guard to let them in. Security guard let them in and they were going around blowing shofar. Anyway, after an hour, they want to leave. And they realized the security guard's downstairs, not on the floors. So they're trying to bang, and they realize they are trapped. They are stuck in the mental asylum on Rosh Hashanah. Now the muzzle is, they went there the second day Rosh Hashanah, not the first day. Because if they would have gone there the first day, they would have been stuck the whole Yom Tov. So they went there the second day Rosh Hashanah. And they had to wait till Motzei Yom Tov, till the end of Yom Tov. When Yom Tov went out, they went to the elevator and they got out. So anyway, back to the story of Rosh Hashanah. So this lady, she's stuck at home. And she's crying. She's crying to God. She said, God Almighty, please help me blow the shofar. I'm really stressed. I've never missed the shofar in my life. It's like a real frum lady. And she said, I can't go to shul. What should I do? And just as she's having this conversation with God, a Chabad rabbi and his son knock on her door with a shofar. And they say, you want to hear the shofar? And she says, yes, of course I want to hear the shofar. She blows the shofar for them. Turns out that rabbi, he came home on Rosh Hashanah, and he has a son who's an autistic son. And the only way to communicate for this autistic son is with a tablet. You can do with a tablet. Today autistic children are very high level neshamas. The souls are on a very, very high level. But on Rosh Hashanah, he can't use a tablet. He has no way of communicating with the child, no idea what he wants. But he saw his son was stressed on Rosh Hashanah during the meal. So he took out the letters of the alphabet. If you open a siddur, the first pages have the letters of the alphabet. So he said, point. And the guy pointed, Mem, Vav, Tzadik, Ayin, Yud, Mem, Miftzayim. Every Chabad Rabbi Miftzayim. So he saw his son wanted to go Miftzayim. Miftzayim Rosh Hashanah means go blow the shofar. So he started going out, following his son. His son literally led him, and his son stopped by that house. And so they went in. And that is how this lady heard the shofar, because of this Chabad rabbi's autistic child. So the story is going around making waves. It's an incredible story, because what it shows is that this child, the stress, they were able to communicate on this spiritual level. But the point is, what I want to make is, we all have worries and we all have anxiety, but the worries and anxiety are because we don't see. Because we live in Alma de Itigalia, in the revealed world, not in Alma de Itikasia. We don't live in the world where we see spirituality, we see godliness. Like we see turmoil, we are worried. What's going to be with Mamdani? What is going to be with the new mayor? It's going to be terrible. He's going to freeze the rent. He's going to destroy New York. And I am not worried, because I know that Hashem runs the world. Hashem has a plan. And this is why I'm not worried about Israel. My son's going to learn in Israel now. My daughter was in Israel in the middle of the war last year, and I'm not stressed. I have no worries, no pain, because I've inculcated, ingrained in the fiber of my being that God is the master of the universe. And that's because I have the Teva. I have the Torah. I start off every single morning learning Torah. What we are doing right now in this class is exactly what Noah did. He went into the Teva, he went into the ark. Every single one of you here that came to the shir tonight is going into the same ark that Noah went into, that Teva. And that's why when you internalize the lesson of tonight, you won't have any worries anymore. You won't be stressed. Michelle, what's your biggest stress in life? A lot. Work. Work is the number one stress, actually, more than anything else. We worry what our boss thinks of us, what our employees think of us. Will we have enough clients? Will we have enough business? Today I was talking to a lady and I asked her for a donation. She says, Rabbi, I've been thinking about giving a donation the whole year. I'm working on a deal the whole year round. I'm so stressed. If I make the deal, I promise I will give a very large donation to you. But she's stressed. She's worried. And what the Torah tells us this week, don't be stressed. Don't be worried, because there's a God. Because there's a Teva, there's an ark. You have the ability, you have the capacity to go into that ark, to live a good life. And so to sum up today's class, the two questions I answered: why destroy the world with water? I gave the answer of the Kli Yakar, and I gave the answer of the Alter Rebbe. And why the ark? We answered that as well. That brings us to an end of tonight's class. Any questions?